and Hideo Nomo will not survive the first inning. He'll be knocked out in favor of Darren Dreifert as the Cubs have thrown a 6th spot at the Dodgers.
And Nomo, standing in stunned silence on the mound, is bombed here in the first. Nomo walks 5. He surrenders 3 hits, 6 runs so far, and he's not out of the woods just yet. 6-0 Cubs lead. Darren Dreifert on. We'll tell you about him when we come right back.
Got your Bud Light, you can't hit my friend.
Let's go. I'm thirsty.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Looks like you're buying.
Make it a Bud Light.
Coach is calling for the heat.
Arm yourself with a different kind of deodorant protection. Arm & Hammer deodorant, the only one that absorbs and eliminates odor with baking soda. This man used Arm & Hammer on his left side, deodorant without baking soda on his right. Later, odor detectors showed we eliminated odor. The other just covered it up. Arm yourself with a better kind of protection. Arm & Hammer. And if you use this, we dare you to try new Arm & Hammer aerosol deodorant. It stops odor better and longer than Right Guard. Arm & Hammer for better all-day protection. Much better.
Shortest career outing for Hideo Nomo, 2/3 of an inning here in the first at Wrigley Field. 5 walks, 3 hits, 6 runs so far. He didn't strike anybody out, and he's not out of trouble yet. 1st and 3rd now, 2 down, and Darren Dreifert on to try to close the door on the Cubs in the first.
Well, Dreifert is the 5th starter, but unfortunately for him, with rainouts and off days, he's only had 1 start. He's on for the 6th time, an 0-1 record, a 3.55 ERA. And he's fanned 13, walked only 2 in 12 2/3 innings. This young man has an exceptional sinker. He throws awfully hard. Out of Wichita, went to Wichita State. And he had a wonderful college career. 5-2 last year with the Dodgers, a 2.86 ERA. All in relief, 48 appearances.
Here's Morandini, but first to throw to first, where Brent Brown scampers back. .45 Nomo pitches in the first inning. He has since departed, and Brown takes in, or Morandini takes inside from Dreifert. Let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
Mickey Morandini has one of the 3 Cub hits so far in this inning. And he has another one. Base hit to right. Wood's going to walk home. Morandini's 10th RBI. His 2nd hit of the inning. And it's a 7-0 Cub lead.
Well, the merry-go-round continues. And this fastball up and out over the plate just drilled into right field. And there's a look at Kerry Wood as he scores. And if you're thinking about one of these 2 pitchers with first inning jitters, you'd think it would be Kerry Wood, not Hideo Nomo.
Wouldn't think that's the case now, with a big 7 spot on the board for the Cubs as Sosa takes a strike. Sammy walked on 5 pitches against Nomo. Seven nothing Cubs in the first. I like our chances today. And now Sammy steps out.
Dreifert was a #1 pick, the first selection overall in the June 1993 draft.
Nothing and 1. That misses outside. I think that was the same draft as Alex Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners back in '93. Remember the old story? Alex Rodriguez, before he was drafted by Seattle the night before, called him and said, I don't want to play in Seattle. I want the Dodgers to draft me. Don't pick me, Seattle. Well, they picked him. They picked the right guy. Sosa bouncing ball toward the hole. Off Seal's glove into shallow left field. Scoring easily is Brown. That ball ate the Dodger third baseman alive.
I would think that would be an error. Zeal having a big problem here in the first inning, but we'll have to wait and see how it's scored. In any event, the score is 8-0 as we'll take another look at it. Sammy bounces this one towards Zeal. He just lets the ball play him, and it does go as an error.
So the miseries continue for the Dodgers now. First and second, 2 outs. 8-0 Cubs. And Mark Grace the hitter. And he takes low from Dryford. 1 ball, no strikes. Mark walked and scored in the first. Line drive hit hard into center, but Hollandsworth back to the track, makes the grab, and that retires the side. But how about that first inning? 8-run score on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 5 walks, and an error. After 1 at Wrigley, Cubs 8, Dodgers nothing.
Serious investors, learn how higher gasoline prices at the pump could mean money in your pocket. Winter blizzards and ice storms will soon give way to springtime weather. Doesn't it make sense that as we move from winter's low gasoline demand into the driving season's increased consumption, that gas prices could rise as well? Call the Winter Group at 1-800-261-3888 for our free report on opportunities in the unleaded gasoline market. See how a $6,000 investment in gas options could return as much as $24,000 or more with a limited predetermined risk. That's right, a $6,000 investment could return $24,000 or more. The preceding was a mathematical leverage example and does not imply clients have or will achieve similar results. People can and do lose money, therefore only risk capital should be utilized. But if these are the kind of potential returns you're looking for, the time to call is now. Gasoline prices are near 12-month lows. So call now, 1-800-261-3888. 1-800-261-3888.
A lot of times when something goes wrong with your car, you know it right away. But some parts, like shock absorbers, tend to wear out gradually over time. So gradually that many drivers fail to realize just how worn their shocks have become. So rather than wait till it's painfully obvious that you need new shocks, stop by your nearest AutoZone. Right now, when you buy 3 Gabriel Gas Rider shocks or struts, you get the 4th one free, only at AutoZone.
8-0 our score after 1. Steve, I just thought of something. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people from Japan who probably were flying into Chicago to see Hideo Nomo pitch today. If their flight's a little late, they're going to be sorely disappointed.
Well, this was a most disappointing day, and we had heard about all the struggles in spring training for Nomo with location and the fact that he kept bouncing that fork ball up there, and that's exactly what happened today.
So Todd Zeal will stand in, trailing 8-0 after 1. A swing and a miss. 19-22.
Cubs fell a little short of that 14-run inning, but when you put 8 on the board, it's got to give the young man a lot of confidence. Now he can be free and easy, and I think the Dodgers are going to see something here today they haven't seen in a while from Cub pitchers.
He's going to throw fastball after fastball after fastball and say, gentlemen, here it is.
Well, he threw a wonderful curveball to strike out Mike Piazza what seemed like an hour ago to get out of his half of the first inning.
Missed high with that heater. 3-1. And what he doesn't want to do is start walking guys, because this Dodger team does have enough clout to put some crooked numbers on the scoreboard very quickly themselves.
Well, a couple of guys looking out at the future of the Cubs.
That fouled back. Count full now to the Dodger third baseman, Todd Zeal, with a 10-game hitting streak. Had a great year last year for Los Angeles. Hit 31 home runs. Breaking ball missed with it. So Wood walks the leadoff man here in the second.
And there's an example of something that if you're a young pitcher you don't want to get in a habit of doing, and that is you have an 8-run lead, a 3-2 count. Throw your fastball. Don't worry about throwing curveballs or anything else. With an 8-run lead, throw your fastball down the middle. If Zeal gets a base hit, that's fine. But you don't want to start walking the hitters, as you mentioned, and 3-2 curveballs are a good way to start putting men aboard.
So Raul Mondesi, who's fighting it a bit, one for his last 11. His average just 207, is the Dodger hitter, and he swings the first pitch, pops it up foul, and that will reach the seats 0-1. Major League Baseball trade earlier today. The Reds trade Chad Mottola to the Texas Rangers for a player to be named later.
Well, that's one of their real outstanding young prospects that hadn't come around quite as they thought he was going to, and eventually now they have sent him elsewhere, hoping that a change of scenery will do the young man some good. The guy who's having a good year for them is Brett Boone, is starting to hit the ball.
Wood misses with a breaking ball. Yeah, Brett started with the Mariners, had that real long looping swing, his hands over his head with the bat, kind of like Ruben Sierra.
And then last year, in the last couple of years, what he did was put the bat on his shoulder, and actually it angled downward. And they finally convinced him that he couldn't hit that way, and he made an adjustment, and this year he's hitting.
The 1-1. Fooled him. There's that good curveball. 1-2.
Well, when you're even or ahead, that curveball is an outstanding pitch. And there's a look at Rick Kranitz, who's got the radar gun out. And we'll watch this snapping curveball, and no chance at all for Mondesi. Missed that one by a foot.
That one almost hit him. 2-2. .20-year-old Kerry Wood, his home debut, and his mates have given him an 8-0 lead. Wood helped himself with his first big league hit and RBI as well. The 2-2. It's full now, 3-2.
Tell you what really helped Kerry Wood, not only his own hitting, but what helped him get off on the right foot was a great pickoff move when Young started out with a base hit, and on a 2-2 count he picked him off first base. That helped him get out of the first inning, and that was a big lift.
Three-two. Swung on, hit high into the air, into shallow left. Blauser can't find it. Henry Rodriguez coming on. He's there. He's got it. And there's out number one. Well, that's got to be a helpless feeling when you look up in that high sky and you have no idea where the baseball is.
Well, fortunately, Henry was coming in and saw that one all the way, so he picked up Jeff Blauser, who couldn't see it. Blauser yells out, "I can't see it right away," but Henry right there to make the play.
So 1 on, 1 out. And Paul Konerko, the young first baseman for the Dodgers, will dig in. What do you think of this kid?
I like the fact that he's got a short stroke, and they've tried him just about everywhere. He played a little third base, played a little left field, and then when Karros went down, they said, well, if you're going to get your opportunity, at least at the start of the season, it will be at first base, and they moved him over there. But the young man looks like he's going to be able to hit, and I'm just not talking about those Albuquerque numbers,
which were pretty good.
Well, the Dodgers have made a living out of those huge numbers at Albuquerque in that rarefied air, and then sending guys like Greg Brock and Franklin Stubbs to other places where they never quite live up to billing. But I think that Konerko's stroke is a little shorter than the rest of those fellows, and I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good hitter. He's got quick hands.
1-1. Ripped hard into left field. An example of it there. That ball was hit right on the button. So 2 on, 1 out. Second Dodger hit. And now Wilton Guerrero, the left fielder, will take his turn.
We'll look at that short swing we talked about. It's compact. He doesn't overstride. Has a pretty good solid base to hit off of, and that's what hitters talk about. And this young man's got a chance to be pretty good, and he's projected to slide into left field when Karros does come back in 2 weeks or so.
So here's Guerrero. He's off to a terrific start with the bat. He's hitting .381.
Any chance of getting a little stock in that Guerrero family with Wilton and Vladimir?
Man,
Not bad. It's better than Ernie Harris's stock tips.
As long as they don't field like Pedro Guerrero, we'll be okay. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Wilton's got a little pop in the bat, and despite his diminutive size, he can hit it a long way. But against Kerry Wood, especially if he sees fastballs, you would expect him to hit it to left or left center. There's a huge gap in right center, so you don't want to throw him too many off-speed pitches.
He overthrew that one and missed outside. 1-2.
We're going to have the coach up here to preside over Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Ray Meyer coming up today. What a wonderful man he is.
Looking forward to meeting him. Might be dinner time by the time the 7th inning rolls around, though. Outside. It's 2-2. A very, very slow game. Cubs scored 8 times in the first.
Scott Service has said that Kerry Wood has the best stuff he's ever caught, and that takes into consideration a lot of pitchers.
Fouled away.
And a man in the upper deck just brought his glove to the ballpark and made the catch, and getting a huge hand from the people around him. How about that? You see, Chip, you bring a glove and occasionally it pays off.
A good fielding crowd here at Wrigley.
And that is an ecstatic fan.
Absolutely. 2-2. 2 on for the Dodgers. Bouncing ball weakly towards short. Lauser handles the funny hop. Flips to Mickey. Can they turn it? Not in time. Guerrero hustled down the line.
Well, that one slowly hit, and this grass at Wrigley Field, not the fastest in the league, so by the time it got to Blauser, the great speed of Guerrero able to beat the throw and keep the inning alive. That would have been a tough one to turn, but Guerrero is lightning fast down that line.
But it does cost the Dodgers their second out of the inning. And Jose Vizcaino will be the batter. 2 for 4 yesterday with a couple of runs batted in.
And Henry might like to move in a step in left field. Jose loves to go that way.
Way high from Wood.
Overcast skies today, so you don't need the sunglasses, and the outfield playing around toward left and left center. On the fastball, not many hitters are going to pull Kerry Wood.
Jose fouls that away. Look how far over toward left Grant Brown is playing in center field.
Well, you have to figure that if you go with the heat, Vizcaino's not going to turn on it. Now he will be able to pull the curveball, of course. But Jose had a nice year last year with San Francisco. He hit .266, drove in 50 runs. And more important than that, for the manager, he played 151 games.
1-1 is high. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, this year, 2 hits to left, 1 to center, and nothing pulled yet.
That one fouled down the left field line. A little early to figure that there's a pattern there, but
well, I've seen him a long time, and he was a Cub, and you factor in a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and that screams out if there's contact, it'll be to left.
The 2-2 just missed. Service tried to frame that pitch on the outside corner, but Larry Vanover said it was too wide.
Now Mark Grace looks at Kerry Wood and tells him that he's going to play behind Guerrero, so don't come to first with a pickoff move.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Wood faked toward third, and had Grace been standing at the bag, they would have at least attempted a throw over there.
But as he just told him, Mark Hirschbeck's going to be the closest guy to the bag, so don't be thrown over here.
3-2. Runner goes, and there's ball 4. So the Dodgers have him loaded here in the second inning.
And Phil Regan's going to tell Kerry Wood to start following through. You have a tendency when you're a big man, especially if you stay up straight, to leave everything up high. And that's what he's going to talk to him about. Wants to settle him down somewhat. And the one problem he's going to have, Chip, is that he's going to strike out a lot of guys. He's going to walk a few, and he's going to have long counts because guys will foul off his high fastball. He's going to be around 100 pitches in the 5th inning most of the time, so it's going to stop him from completing games until he has some shorter at bats. And he'll learn, like Greg Maddux did, that a first ball ground ball is equally as impressive as striking people out, and it saves you pitches and you can go longer in the game. But that will take a while. He's just in his 2nd start, and he's only 20 years old.
As Darren Dreifert stands in, Kerry misses high and away. You think about Randy Johnson, for example, who has an overpowering fastball, a nasty slider. Early in his career, he had the same problem.
And Sandy Koufax couldn't find the plate for a few years. When he finally did, nobody ever hit him.
1-0 to the Dodger pitcher. He had a home run cut, and Kerry blew it right by him.
Already 44 pitches, and we're not out of the 2nd. And that's what Kerry will have to contend with quite a bit early in his career. High pitch counts.
2 balls and a strike.
It was the walk to Dustin Hermanson leading off the inning in Montreal that eventually helped do him in.
Two and two. Well, I love it when a kid like this has an arm like that and just says, here it is, guys. Here comes the country hardball. My partner Steve Lyons once told me about that baseball phrase only because he couldn't hit that pitch. And Dreifert couldn't hit that one either, and he strikes out swinging. The Dodgers come up empty in the 2nd. They leave the bases loaded. After 2 in Chicago, the Cubs lead the Dodgers 8-0.
It's amazing what some people will do to save a little money.
What a piece of work.
Yet with one call to Geico, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. And considering the alternatives, making a phone call is pretty simple.
Amateur.
Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Both these men have athlete's foot, but only one used the soothing cure. Prescription strength Desinex. It calms the itching and cools the burning while it heals. Got athlete's foot? Get Desinex, the soothing cure.
Got your Bud Light, you can't hit my friend.
Let's go. I'm thirsty.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Looks like you're buying.
Make it a Bud Light.
Coach is calling for the heat.
Here's an easy quiz. Which car has the highest horsepower and most interior room? Good. And with $1,500 cash back, which car has the lowest price? Very good. Or instead of cash back, Dodge Neon comes with what low financing rate? Very, very good. And what can this rate save you over 60 months? Correct. So please circle which car you want now. Excellent. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
WGN, 50 years as Chicago's very own.
8-0. We head to the Cubs' 2nd here at beautiful Wrigley Field in Chicago. Henry Rodriguez, Jeff Blauser, Tyler Houston against Darren Dreifert. Hideo Nomo's shortest career outing this afternoon at Wrigley Field. He went 2/3 of an inning and gave up 8 runs, 7 of them earned.
We'll take a look at the last strikeout, and it's a bullet of a fastball from Kerry Wood. And from the Southwest Plainview camera, take a look at, amazingly enough, no contact either place.
That is amazing. Very consistent on the replay. 1 ball, 1 strike to Henry.
Well, when you get it up there 96-98, you don't figure a pitcher is going to be able to get around on it too well.
I give credit for Dreifert for not sitting down. He swung so hard. Inside to Henry, 2 balls and a strike.
Bryford had some arm problems. In fact, was on the disabled list. Torn medial collateral ligament in his right elbow in '95.
Henry sends a bullet down the left field line. Had home run distance, but he swung a little late. They're standing up over on the rooftops across the street. The weather warming up day by day. Great to see the faithful here at Wrigley.
I'll bet you we have well over 30,000 today.
You might be right. That ball lofted into center, and Hollinsworth a good running catch. So Henry retired for the Cubs, opening up the home half of the second inning.
And the Dodgers figure that Hollinsworth, who occasionally plays left field, is probably going to have to find a home in center, especially when Karros comes back and Konerko moves to left field. They like Hollinsworth. He was Rookie of the Year, and although he had a down year last year, they think eventually he's going to be a pretty good player.
Here's Blauser. He walked and scored in the first inning. That's one thing Jeff's done a lot for this Cub team. He has drawn a lot of bases on balls. Already 13 of them on the year. Bouncing ball toward the whole left side. Good play at shortstop. Vizcaíno, did he have enough? No. Infield hit for Jeff.
Nice play by Jose, but an off-balance throw. You have to have quite a gun to get it across. And he plants the back foot. He can't get much on the throw, and credit Blauser hustling down the line. He beats the play at first, and the call by Mark Hirschbeck.
So that's the 5th Cubs hit. And here's Tyler Houston. He popped out to Mike Piazza, who made a spectacular play in foul ground to retire him his first time up. It's 0-1. San Diego at Pittsburgh, losing to the Pirates 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cincinnati is at home. They are tied with the Mets 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th.
I heard they had 3 feet of snow in Denver.
I'm sure Dad's having a great time out in Colorado today. They get the leading runner at second. Good hard slide from Blauser. Houston had his bat broken. And Jeff retired 4-6 on the force at second base.
Well, the Dodgers feel they were very lucky to be able to get out of town just before the snows came. And the Braves are having all kinds of problems getting in any type of action.
Yeah, they had some snow. They were snowed out, were the Dodgers in Colorado. That Miguel Cairo had never seen snow before. So they had him out on the field with his shirt off, taking pictures of the snow. Service almost got hit. I meant Castro. Castro Cairo started with a C, right?
I've made that mistake many times.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the help. 1-0 to Service. That's right through there. It's a ball and a strike. Yeah, Juan Castro was the young man who had never seen snow. I don't know if Miguel Cairo's ever seen snow either.
Well, call Tampa Bay and get him on the phone.
Yeah, we can ask him. I'm sure everybody's really excited about hearing that story, Chip. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's way outside. 2-1. Tampa Bay did lose Wade Boggs. He has to go on the disabled list, I think. First time in his career for Wade Boggs, who is 190 hits shy of 3,000. The 2-1. Right through there. 2-2.
Bryford has very good stuff. He's a big man. He's 6'2", probably up there about 215 pounds. And you can see the life on the fastball, and that's one of the things that characterized his college career. That's one of the reasons why he was drafted #1. The ball just moved every which way.
Is this guy going to be their closer, or is he going to be a starter?
No, they're going to give him every opportunity to start because they think it's going to be easier on his arm as a closer, and they tried to make him one right out of college. It put a lot of pressure on both him and his elbow, and his elbow just gave out.
Payoff pitch. Runner goes. Pitch swung on. Straightaway center field. Easy play for Mr. Hollinsworth. He's got it, and the Cubs are retired in the second. Nothing doing. On we go to the third. It's all Cubs, 8-0.
Arm yourself with a different kind of deodorant protection. Arm & Hammer deodorant, the only one that absorbs and eliminates odor with baking soda. This man used Arm & Hammer on his left side, deodorant without baking soda on his right. Later, odor detectors showed we eliminated odor. The other just covered it up. Arm yourself with a better kind of protection. Arm & Hammer. And if you use this, we dare you to try new Arm & Hammer aerosol deodorant. It stops odor better and longer than Right Guard. Arm & Hammer for better all-day protection. Much better.
So remember, there's only one Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats.
You have it.
No. You.
Sure?
Yeah, sure.
There's only one Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treat Square. Try them in chocolate chip.
Always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me. Always something there to remind me.
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Nobody does it like you.
A revolving brush or 5 rotating brushes, a manual hand tool or one powered with 2 more brushes. The choice is easy.
Nobody
Steam Vac Ultra.
does it like you.
WGN, 50 years as Chicago's very own.
Top of the Dodger order due in the top of the 3rd inning. You see the score. Los Angeles an 11-3 winner yesterday, trailing 8-0 here.
Wood against Nomo, and I can't remember the last time the Cubs picked up 5 walks in 1 inning, but if you do that, all you need is the occasional base hit, and that's the big difference in the Cubs this year and last year. Yes, the hitting is better this year. Yes, they do have more power, but also they're much more patient. They have some guys that will draw walks, and if you draw a couple of walks in an inning, you don't have to sit back and always wait for the 3-run homer. A base hit will score you a couple runs, and we've seen it this year.
Eric Young, a pitch sails over his head. Now he glares out at Kerry Wood. And now he takes a stroll in front of the plate.
Well, first of all, Kerry's not going to back down. And second of all, if Eric thought he was trying to knock him down 8 runs down, that's ridiculous. That's overreacting to a young man who's just trying to get the ball over the plate.
And Young probably trying to fire up his mates a little bit too here and getting ahead of the young right-hander.
Well, I like Kerry Wood. He walked down toward the plate and said, I'm 6'5", 220. If you want some of this, come on out. And that wasn't all that close.
So Young will dig back in.
And hitters are getting a little hypersensitive these days.
That's how you answer it right there.
Well, if any of these guys ever faced Bob Gibson or Don Drysdale, they'd have seen another one up under their chin a little closer the second time.
Yeah, how about Kenny Lofton and Randy Johnson the other night?
Well, that had a history going back about 5 years. I don't believe these two guys ever faced one another before.
I wouldn't think so. The 2-1. That's fouled off at the plate. It's 2-2. Off the end of his bat foul. Look out, folks. And Young stays alive. And that just missed low. Three balls, 2 strikes to Young. The man Steve said would be very important for the Cubs to keep under wraps today. And Wood ought to have him retired on a soft fly ball into shallow left. On comes Henry. He's got it. Calls off Blauser. So Young, after a brief spat, is retired on a weak fly ball to the left.
Well, the one thing that's been consistent about Kerry Wood through his meteoric climb through the Cubs system is wherever he's gone, nobody's ever hit him. Now, he might have gotten himself in trouble via the base on balls, but you don't hit this guy all that hard. And the same thing will hold true even in the big leagues. With his stuff, when he gets the ball over the plate consistently, they're not going to hit him all that well.
LA with only 2 hits so far today, and that was a nasty pitch. Boy, that thing dived on the outer half of the plate. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. The home debut of Kerry Wood, so far so good. 3 balls and a strike. That'll reach the seats.
Well, Hollingsworth helps him out because that was ball 4. But you don't have a great deal of time to make up your mind, and when you see that fastball, it looks like it's going to be a strike, and at the last instant, the life on the fastball makes it jump out of the zone. So you see a lot of guys swinging at high fastballs that they wouldn't ordinarily swing at from other pitchers.
Fouled away at the plate. Who was your first catcher when you came to the major leagues?
Dick Dietz. They called him the Mule.
How instrumental was he in helping you along as you progressed? Did he go? Foul tipped into the glove of Service. That's a strikeout. And I guess the question is, how big a part is Scott Service going to play in what Kerry Wood learns or doesn't learn here in his first few starts?
I think Scott Service will be a lot more helpful for Kerry Wood than Dick Dietz was for me. And watch Kerry Wood, just the motion. And we told you about swinging at a few more high pitches from Kerry Wood, and from the Southwest Airlines Plainview camera you see an excellent example of that. You don't have time to make up your mind, and so you think it's a strike, and then it pops out of the strike zone with a little extra hop on it. And that's how Jim Palmer got a lot of his strikeouts and pop-ups, with the same type of fastball in his glory days. To answer your question, Dick Dietz was more an offensive catcher, made the All-Star team in 1970. He was really concerned with hitting first and catching second, and I think behind the plate most of these guys should be concerned just the opposite, catching and throwing first, calling pitches. And you know, for every Mike Piazza, you're going to find 5 or 6 catchers who really have their defensive skills number one, and Piazza's such a great hitter that obviously the offense is his long suit.
Piazza with a 2-1 count. Line drive right field. His first hit of the day, 4th hit of the series, 3rd hit for the Dodgers.
Well, Mike doesn't care if it's 65 or 95. He's just going to hit it hard, and this is a high fastball. He reaches out, drives it into right field. That's as good a swing and as powerful a swing as you'll see.
Well, he looks like a lumberjack.
He's just very comfortable up there, and you don't fool him too often.
Todd Zeile, the batter, walked his first time up. Oh boy, he was really fooled with that pitch. That's almost not fair.
Well, Zeile looks out at Kerry Wood and said, why don't you throw me a fastball like you did Piazza? I'm not going to hit this one too well.
He had the good form to laugh about that swing too. Another one. 0-2.
And I don't think you need a setup pitch here. I would just throw one more curveball and adios.
Fastball, strike 3 called. Say cheese. Zeile saying, hey, why didn't you throw that to me first? But 2 big curveballs and then a laser beam fastball retires the Dodgers in the 3rd. It's 8-0 Cubs.
Oh, it's really coming down out there. Cats and dogs.
It hasn't rained this hard since last time I had to paint the garage.
Man can't work in the rain. Pity us.
Is that what you're gonna do all day?
Honey, I can't hear you. The rain's too loud.
The weatherman said it was supposed to be nice today.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Here is an easy quiz. True or false? Dodge Caravan is America's best-selling minivan. Good. And right now, Grand Caravan comes with how much cash back? Very good. Now page 2. Check off which features come with this Caravan. Correct. Yet it's still America's lowest price minivan at just, oh, very, very good. So please circle which minivan you want now. Excellent. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Now you can take yourself out to the ball game and catch plenty of Cubs action on your computer. Visit the Chicago Cubs website at www.cubs.com. It's the Cubs at your fingertips. The site features live broadcasts of Cubs baseball, daily statistics and game notes, player information, online access to tickets, and more. www.cubs.com is your link to the Cubs and is accessible 24 hours a day. Visit the Cubs website today at www.cubs.com. It's the place to be if you're not at Wrigley Field.
If a Cub player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN. You could win tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
8-0 the score. Kerry Wood to lead it off for the Cubs here in the home half of the third. It's been a real drag for the Dodgers so far.
Yes, it has.
Thank you.
It's a line of the year.
It's early. Wood takes a strike. An RBI single, his first major league hit, his first major league RBI. Even Kathy Kerr laughed at that one.
Take a look at the base hit in the first inning. His first major league hit, his first major league run batted in, and he did it on a fastball up over his head. He took it back through the middle.
He's got a good cut that time.
I told you he's going to be a pretty good hitter. You could see it in his first start. Even though he didn't get a base hit, he stood in there well, and I think he's really going to help himself with the bat.
The 1-2. He went around that time, and Wood gets taste of his own medicine. He strikes out. First punch out for Dryford here in the third.
I think we're going to get to the point here at Wrigley Field where when Kerry Wood starts, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come out specifically to see him pitch. We heard of Fernando Mania. It happens now with Nomo. I think it's going to happen here in Chicago with Kerry Wood. He is a joy to watch.
Here's Brant Brown. Brant has walked and scored. He's singled home 2 runs and scored again, both times in the first when the Cubs put 8 runs on the board. Ripped hard down the right field line. And into the seats. It's 0-2. Boy, the way this guy keeps hitting, he's making Jim Riggleman's decision pretty easy as who to pencil into that lineup in center field every day.
As long as he keeps hitting, there's no reason to make any changes.
That ball scalded toward left and into the Cubs bullpen.
And smile on the face of Brant Brown as the ball man down there took one in the back, I think. And Amari Telemaco couldn't get the glove up fast enough.
The 0-2. Fouled off Piazza, who's taken quite a bit of punishment today. First from Hideo Nomo, who was bouncing balls all over the place.
Well, this should be a good matchup for Brant Brown because Dryford has a sinker. Brown likes the ball down. And if he gets it out over the plate, he's going to hit it hard.
That just missed the outside edge.
Well, Brant Brown has made a good case for just staying in center field. Because as long as he's doing the job and the Cubs are putting some runs on the board, you might as well go with what you got.
2-2. 8 runs, 5 hits for the Cubs. No runs, 3 hits, an error for the Dodgers so far. The 2-2 is popped out of play down the left field line. Let's see if a fan can make the grab on a bounce. A lucky fan comes away with a souvenir.
What you have to like about Brown is in the leadoff spot, he's already driven in 9 runs, and that's a lot of production from a leadoff hitter.
The 2-2. He stays alive.
And there's Lance, who's the incumbent in center field, but ever hear the name Wally Pipp?
I have.
Had a headache at 2,100 and some odd games later. Lou Gehrig stopped playing.
The 2-2. And Brown finally swings and is retired by Dryford. But the question is, who did Wally Pipp replace?
That is a good question. And only Arnie Harris was around at that point.
That's exactly right. We'll wait for him to give us the answer.
Okay.
It's Babe Dahlgren, by the way, in case you wondered.
Babe.
By the way,
the other Babe.
Well, and speaking of the other Babe, this date, 1923, Babe Ruth christened Yankee Stadium. It opened on this day.
And just 75 years later,
they don't
came tumbling down.
Don't build them like they used to, do they? Here's Mickey Morandini, a home run yesterday and a couple of hits in the first today. So his bat seems to be coming back to life.
I like Dryford's stuff. He's got a lot of movement on that sinker.
That's downstairs.
And of course, Mike Piazza is all for anybody who can get the ball to him on a fly.
Makes the game a little easier, doesn't it?
Yes. You have less welts at the end of the day.
Swing and a miss. Jim Riggleman up 8-0. Bill Russell scuffling on a lovely Saturday in Chicago.
And probably both managers thinking what a difference a day makes. Yesterday was the exact opposite.
Toward first. Good play, Konerko. He'll win the race to the bag, and the Cubs are out in order. 1-2-3 in the third. To the fourth we go. Mondesi, Konerko, and Guerrero will try to solve Kerry Wood in an 8-0 Cub game.
Think he's going to show?
He's not here, and he's not going to be here. Honey, say something.
This is Diet.
Diet Pepsi. So light, so crisp, so refreshing. Now, inside packs of Diet Pepsi, get a free MCI prepaid calling card.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
The Hoover Steam Vac Ultra has 5 rotating brushes. Plus, it has a powered hand tool with 2 more brushes. It cleans like a whole crew of professionals. So, you know, there's really no comparison.
Hoover, nobody
Steam Vac Ultra.
does it like you.
With AT&T One Rate, it costs $2.40 to make a 16-minute call from Miami to Chicago. With 10321, it's $4.47. With One Rate, it costs $1.20 to make an 8-minute call from Boston to Dallas. With 10321, it's $2.23. Surprised? Don't be. Most calls from home cost less with One Rate, without dialing any extra digits. Now, what state would you rather be in? If you don't have One Rate, get it today.
A participating advertiser for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge.
On Seventh Heaven.
It's time for me to be on my own.
A decision that will change this family forever. Seventh Heaven.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
Kerry Wood's first pitch of the 4th inning, a bullet of a strike to Raul Mondesi. He's got a 3-hit shutout through 3 over the Dodgers. And he's really starting to get the feel of that curveball, Stoney. He's thrown a couple of good ones the last couple of at-bats.
Well, what I like is he's changing speeds on the curveball. When he has to go get you, he throws a hard curveball. That was a soft get-me-over curveball, and equally as effective.
He wasted that pitch, 1-2.
I'd like to see him go back to the curveball, see if he can wipe out Mondesi. After 2 great curveballs, he left Zeal standing there with a bullet of a fastball.
See you later. 5 strikeouts for Wood. Boy, what a luxury that is. He can just throw it by you at any time in the count. And he had him set up, and Mondesi punched out for the first time in the game. You used to throw that hard, didn't you?
Well, strangely enough, when I came up, I was the hardest throwing pitcher in the San Francisco organization, but I hurt my arm, and then I had to make a choice. Either go sell shoes for a living or learn to adjust, and I became a curveball pitcher.
Well, knowing how you like shoes, I mean, that's... Here's Konerko. He takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Shoes are important, I was once told.
Yes, it was. Especially when we get closer to Memorial Day and Arnie breaks out the white shoes.
Did Paul go? Yes, he did. It's 1-1. Well, Arnie's the second person I know that wears a lot of white shoes. Our colleague Dave Niehaus of the Seattle Mariners
did the same thing.
The king.
Well, it's really nice because Arnie looks like a barber starting between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
The 1-1. That pops away from service, but it's a strike anyway. The only problem that Dave used to have, and I love him to death, he'd go and pick out 5 or 6 pairs of shoes, and he'd leave them on the charter 3 or 4 times a year. Every time we'd come back to Seattle, he'd say, "Some Alaska Airlines pilot's got my shoes." So he keeps on buying them. We miss you, David. The 1-2. Change beaten toward third. Tyler in, up, across. 2 down.
Well, now Kerry is starting to get everything over the plate, and when he does that, more times than not, it looks like a mismatch. And again, the 8 runs on the board in the first inning makes it a little easier, but for Kerry Wood, if he gets ahead of the hitters, they don't have much of a chance, and that is a good-looking score so far. Cubs leading 800-0.
I was just thinking the same thing. That's scary. Here's Guerrero. Fell back to the screen. It's 0-1. What a thrill this must be for Kerry Wood. His first game as a Cub in Wrigley Field. He's taking on the storied Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's pitching a shutout so far. And a big crowd of over 30,000 on hand to see him. The 1-1 is low. 2 balls and a strike. Guerrero has a 7-game hitting streak on the line today. And that pitch corked into the seats and out of play. 2-2. They were touting this kid for the Rookie of the Year, and then his bat was confiscated after he corked it. That's not a good way to impress the purists. And just missed. It's 3-2.
Especially when you're not going to hit many home runs. So maybe he wanted his singles to go deeper.
Well, he just laid the bat out on the ball. Blauser will throw him out. Close play, though. Kerry Wood has his first 1, 2, 3 innings since the first. And after 3.5, Cubs leading 800-0.
What do you look for in grass seed? Quick results?
We seeded it with Scott's seed last fall. As soon as I planted it, boom, it just came in.
A really terrific lawn?
And it feels like crushed velvet under your feet. It's wonderful.
How about weeds? Bargain brands can contain thousands of weed seeds that can ruin your lawn forever.
You can spend $1 or $2 less for a bag of seed.
But you don't want weeds in your grass seed.
Scott's Premium Grass Seed, 99 and 99/100% weed-free for a beautiful lawn guaranteed.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of LensCrafters. New Invisibles anti-reflective lenses from LensCrafters reduce glare, so you can see better while driving at night. New Invisibles, only at LensCrafters. Made in about an hour.
I can't get my kids to eat right. All they want is junk food. My kids love rich chocolate Ovaltine, and it's got vitamins Nestle Quick and Hershey's syrup don't. When my kids want chocolate milk, it's rich chocolate Ovaltine.
More Ovaltine, please!
My feet are killing me 8 hours a day. Nothing helps.
Introducing Gold Bond Medicated Foot Powder. 3 foot relievers in 1. Only Gold Bond absorbs moisture, controls odor with baking soda, and stops foot itch. New Gold Bond Medicated Foot Powder.
Finally something that really helps.
Got your Bud Light, you can't hit my friend.
Let's go. I'm thirsty.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Looks like you're buying.
Make it a Bud Light.
Coach is calling for the heat.
WGN, 50 years as Chicago's very own.
It's Sammy time as we head to the home half of the fourth. Sosa, Grace Rodriguez against Darren Dreifert. And the fans having a great time today. They sure are for real today. 8-0 the score. The pitch is way overhead. 1 ball, no strikes.
In St. Louis, the Cardinals leading Philadelphia 5-2. That game moving to the top of the 6th. The Cardinals appear to be for real this year, but they might have lost Ray Langford for a while. He left the ball game with a hamstring problem, and he's one of the keys to that team.
Sosa hits it a mile high into shallow center. 1 out. Yeah, and Langford just signed that big contract with the Cardinals too. And was off to a great start. It knocked in 12 runs and was hitting 400 for St. Louis. But they still have Mark McGwire. Ho-hum, he just hit his 8th home run.
And Ron Gant came off the bench, hit a pinch home run, a 3-run job, and that was the difference in the game last night.
Mark Grace taps the ball to the left side under the glove of Zeal, but the shortstop Vizcaíno, good play. And Grace retired. Speaking of that home run chase, Ken Griffey Jr. A homer, 4 RBIs, 3 for 4 for the Seattle Ball Club. Mr. Griffey and Mr. McGwire are going to make it a very interesting summer. This man's made it interesting for Cubs fans. Henry Rodriguez. He's hit 6 home runs. He's knocked in 14 on the year. He walked for the 14th time this season back in the first. Drew an RBI and later scored when Brant Brown knocked him home. But he's out of luck here in the fourth. 3 up, 3 down for the Cubs in the home half. On we move to the 5th. All Cubbies, 8-0.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody.
How can Geico save you money on car insurance when you buy from us directly? We cut out the middleman. Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. A typical car insurance agent is on the job during regular business hours. On the other hand, Geico insurance professionals are on the job 24 hours a day. Geico. A 15-minute